They felt, lots of people are increasingly thinking, now we have cases of terrorist activities in the country here and there, and you hear experts tell you, this is a simple thing. Some say it's common sense, even though they say it's not also too common. Follow the money. Do you have any publication, any notice whatsoever from the Commission in terms of funds being moved or being used for some of these activities?
Well, I think that is part of the things that is challenging now. Unfortunately, before, that was why I said the corrupt guys are becoming smarter. Before they use the banks, I mean, with the electronic system now, they probably don't use the banks again. They deal with raw cash. They use the Bureau exchange. They deal with raw cash. They don't even they don't collect bribes in financial exchange.
Doesn't that make it easier if you deal with the BDCs? You just narrow your search down to the BDCs.
Because they don't operate within the electronic system. It's difficult for you to trace the raw cash. Once they convert it to dollars, they run it in millions of dollars.
Are you suggesting that these guys are outsmarting the EFCC?
No, they are outsmarting the system. There's no doubt about that. And that is one of the challenges where each and every one of us needs to start monitoring our neighbors.
How do you move raw cash from neighboring countries into this country?
Oh, I think that is, you need to go to the border. And you see, you're talking about cash that are even in pockets. They move contraband goods from the borders. With the customs and immigrations there, they move freely and they get away with it. And it's easier to even consume cash.
You're actually getting into monitoring. You talked about people, citizens should all be involved in this fight against corruption. But when we talk about public sector corruption, you know, sometimes the man in the eye of all of it is maybe the politician, the one we want to call the big man. So does this also happen in every sector of our life? As individuals, in our daily interaction, you go to some shops or you go to some service centers, do we also see some corrupt practices?
I think it is almost in every sector of the Nigerian system, unfortunately, and it's moving gradually from even the public offices to the private offices, and then it's moving from private to our individual homes, either we like it or not. You know,
because once we were talking about the civil service, which some people have come up to say, well, it's a cesspool of corruption going on there. From the civil service now, we're looking at a whole lot. That's why we're talking about public sector corruption. And you just cited a policeman that was actually dismissed. You used the word summarily, but he was actually tried in your own
No,
court.
that is the unfortunate. The IG does not even have that power of that pronouncement to dismiss the guy according to the law. I mean, not that we're condoning corruption, but we need to do the things right. Many times, this is a way they actually placate the society by just saying he's been dismissed. Dismissed. That is not even the crime that he committed. Soliciting bribe is not what the police should do. Aside from the fact that he needs to go to the Police Service Commission, where the appropriate sanction would have been applied. And then, it needs to be tried in the court of law. For that is a criminal offense. You know, but where you just say, oh, he's been dismissed, unfortunately, that becomes a very serious issue.
Yeah, but they said they will also look into the laws.
I mean, like how many of them have been? We've had situations, that is where it ends. You know, you've seen where policemen will kill innocent people, and now they will say, oh, he's been court-martialed, he's been dismissed, except for the one that happened with the fuel subsidy protest. I mean, because the eye of the public was on the guy, and also some government support was in terms of assisting the victims.
So it goes back, sorry Dan, it goes back to the agencies. I still want to stay on the EFCC and ICPC, Chairman started on there. Haven't they, I don't know, have they been really effective lately? Because if you bring up those 15 cases you talked about that have been brought to a good conclusion positively, it doesn't amount to the amount of cases yet unresolved.
If you're talking about the effect, you would sincerely say that it's not been effective, because the effect is for it to start reducing the speed and the rate of corruption in the system. But what we have is an increment in that. So with that, you would say the anti-corruption institutions are still not being effective, or the fight against corruption are still not being effective.
Does the police fraud unit still exist?
Yeah, it still exists, but I think it's nothing different from the police. So when you look at the police, just look at the special fraud unit in that same light of what you know with the police. But when we go to the EFCC, because
the police might disagree very strongly with you.
No, I have no problem with that. They should feel free about it. The first thing is the special fraud unit is even supposed to be leading the fight against fraud. We shouldn't be talking about EFCC or ICPC if the special fraud unit is up to the task. You don't have many of these kind of other agencies in other institutions and other crimes. You have the police investigating many of these issues and dealing with it appropriately.
But that doesn't have to be the self-same way in other crimes.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, but we don't have it here. So it's a different thing. If they've been living up to expectations, then they can justifiably say, okay, I mean, of course, with the existence of EFCC, at least we still surpass the achievement of EFCC in terms of combating crimes and corruption within the system. So in the absence of that, what do we want to say? But now, when we look at the issues in context, and I would want to clearly state that it is not only about the anti-corruption institutions. We need to look at also the existing arms of government. You want to look at the National Assembly. You want to look at the judiciary. The cases go to court. The first thing an average defense lawyer thinks of is how to get the man off the hook. And for whatever it is worth, even if it's going to drag or protract a case for the next 8 years to ensure that no prosecution is secured, then they go for that.
Now I'm excited about this. Sorry, again, tie this to the policeman who's been dismissed on camera and to the Farouk Lawan case we also saw on camera. You know, now we're getting two, same scenario, but different approach to these two cases. One is still very much, well, almost dormant or
no, you know, a friend
covered
of
up.
mine on the Facebook, I mean, one Bella Obisita, you just mentioned, I mean, what is the difference between Omelise and Farouk Lawan, you know, in terms of being caught on the camera? And I said, my response was...
Do we really have camera shots? I mean, what I remember is the recording.
Which one?
Which was disputed.
With the
was a
police one or the Farouk Lawan one?
Call recording.
No, I think there was a picture that showed where the money was stuffed in a cap.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No,
yeah, there were the video recordings that were said to be shown.
Yeah,
so even President Obasanjo and the rest
yes,
of
but
them.
nobody saw that. It wasn't out in the public.
Well, okay, we've not seen. So,
exactly.
But the man was saying the picture was actually. But I mean, she was just asking, and for me, it was like, Farouk Lawan operates within a climb where that kind of incident is not a new thing. But the policeman operates. He has just violated the 10th commandment of the 11th commandment of the police force. Thou shalt not be caught. He was caught on camera. And as far as the police is concerned, once you are caught, you are on your own. Within the National Assembly, I mean, there's none of them. Very few of them would be different from Farouk Lawan. That is what operates within the system.
Is there anyone who has been caught and the law?
No, well, of course, that is the challenge within them. They can't. No, that's what I'm saying.
To be a new thing.
It's difficult for them to point an accusing finger too much because they know what they always had within one another. It's going to be easy for Farouk Lawan to also spill the bean on someone. Well, we are not even.
No, it's not about that. It's not. Maybe you're not getting the picture now. It's not about the National Assembly now. It's about the agencies now prosecuting this particular case. Now, for Omeleze Chris, he was seen on video.
Mind you, it's the same police force. It's the same police force that is...
same police force is also investigating Farouk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They have a video of him soliciting or receiving bribe from Otedola. Then I think by now we should have seen the end of that particular case, isn't it?
You won't probably see the end of that. I mean, it's a systemic thing. It is not about Farouk Lawan, and that is what I'm saying.
We're using verbose language now to describe all of this. What was systemic? Looks like another word for it is we're not ready to stop it.
No, that's the basic truth about it. It is not just, that's what I'm saying. We have several cases of even those of them that are already in court. They still enjoy their loot. They are there in the National Assembly. Even those who ran away from prosecution in the UK and still being on the wanted list in the UK, they're still in the National Assembly freely operating. And once there's an attempt at either getting, like you have with the former governor, Saminu Turaki, who was to be prosecuted, he's a member of the Senate. He ran out of the country. He's still a member of the country, of the Senate.
He's not been recalled.
Sorry?
The processes.
That's what I'm saying.
So
he's not been recalled. He's not been suspended. He's not been appearing in the Senate.
Yeah, but groups like yours, for instance, shouldn't you have made such suggestions.
Oh, no, those are
for
critical.
any such persons like this,
sincerely,
you write to the constituency.
Oh, yes.
This child can be recalled.
No, of course, let me tell you the truth about it. We don't have to pretend about these issues. The recall process for many, it's just about executive lawlessness
Shouldn't we
and
then
recklessness.
seek to correct